Every Sunday, I used to stand in my kitchen with genuinely good intentions and absolutely no plan. I'd buy vegetables I never cooked, forget what I was supposed to do with the chicken thighs, and by Wednesday, I'd be eating cereal for dinner because I just gave up. Meal planning always felt like something organized people did. People with color-coded binders and time on their hands. Then I started using free ChatGPT for it, and honestly, my whole week changed. What's happening right now with AI and food is actually pretty interesting. These tools, ChatGPT being the big free one most people already have access to, can basically act like a really knowledgeable friend who happens to know a lot about nutrition, cooking, and how to make things work with whatever you have in your fridge. They're not replacing doctors or dietitians. They're filling in the gap that most of us live in. The gap between wanting to eat better and actually knowing how to make that happen on a Tuesday night with limited groceries and limited energy. This channel, Stack Future, is all about making tools like this actually useful for real people, not tech people. Not people with extra hours to figure stuff out. Regular people who just want their lives to work a little better. If that's you, stick around. There's a new video every single day. Here's where most people go wrong before they even start. They think meal planning means going out, buying a bunch of new ingredients, and completely overhauling the way they eat. ChatGPT doesn't work that way, and that's actually the best part. Open up ChatGPT, free version, right there at chatgpt.com, no subscription needed. And instead of asking it to create a meal plan, just tell it what you're working with. Like, genuinely. What's in your fridge right now? What do you actually like eating? What's your week looking like? Try typing something like this. I have chicken breast, canned black beans, some bell peppers, rice, and a bag of spinach. I want to eat healthier this week, but I'm pretty busy Monday through Thursday. Can you help me plan a few simple meals? That's it. That's the whole prompt. And what comes back is genuinely useful. Not a generic list of salads, but actual meal ideas built around what you told it. It might suggest a quick chicken rice bowl for Monday, a bean and spinach quesadilla for Tuesday, something with the leftover chicken on Wednesday. The reason this works so well is that ChatGPT is trained on an enormous amount of cooking and nutrition information, but it also responds to context. The more specific you are, the better it gets. Tell it you hate meal prepping on weekends. Tell it your kids won't eat anything green. Tell it you're trying to eat more protein. It adjusts. Every time. This is AI meal planning at its most practical. It meets you where you actually are, not where a meal plan template assumes you should be. Okay, so, this is the part that genuinely surprised me when I first tried it. You know how you have a recipe you love, like a pasta dish, or your mom's casserole, or that really good chicken tikka masala you make, but you kind of suspect it's not exactly healthy? ChatGPT can take any recipe and quietly make it better for you, without making it taste like cardboard. Here's how it actually works. You paste the recipe into ChatGPT, or just describe it, and then ask something like, can you make this recipe higher in protein and lower in saturated fat, but keep it tasting similar? It'll do things like swap heavy cream for Greek yogurt, suggest cauliflower rice alongside regular rice so you're getting more fiber without totally changing the dish. Recommend adding a handful of lentils to a meat sauce to stretch the protein further and make it more filling. And here's what I really want you to notice. It explains why it's making each change. So you're actually learning a little bit of food science without it feeling like a lesson, which honestly is how most of us actually absorb information, in context when it matters, not in a classroom. You can also go the other direction. If you found a healthy recipe online but it sounds kind of bland or complicated, ask ChatGPT to make it more flavorful or to simplify it for a weeknight. This recipe has 14 ingredients. Can you help me make a simpler version with things I'm more likely to have? That works too. This is where free ChatGPT tips get genuinely practical for health. You're not learning a nutrition degree. You're just having a conversation with something that already knows the stuff. Once you've got a feel for how to talk to it, you can ask ChatGPT to build you an entire week. And this is where it starts to feel a little like having a personal assistant. A good prompt here might look like, can you build me a simple meal plan for 5 dinners this week? I want each meal to be under 600 calories, take under 30 minutes to make, and I don't eat red meat. Use ingredients that overlap so I'm not wasting food or buying too much. That last part, asking for overlapping ingredients, is genuinely smart. It'll build a week where, say, the roasted vegetables from Monday's dinner show up in Tuesday's grain bowl. The chicken you cook once gets used 2 different ways. You're not buying 10 different proteins. You're shopping smart. After it gives you the plan, ask it to generate a shopping list. Just say, can you turn that into a grocery list organized by section, produce, proteins, pantry staples? It'll do that in about 3 seconds. Print it, screenshot it, copy it into your Notes app, whatever works for you. The point is, you walked in with a blank week and walked out with a plan, a list, and a pretty clear idea of what you're eating and why. This is AI for everyday people doing exactly what it should do, saving you the mental energy of figuring something out from scratch so you can spend that energy on everything else you've got going on. This one's a little softer, but it might be the most useful thing in this whole video. ChatGPT is really good for the questions you have in the middle of cooking, or the ones you feel a little silly asking out loud. Like, is it actually bad to eat the same breakfast every day? Answer, generally no, it can actually make things easier. Or, I've been trying to eat less sugar, but I'm always hungry by 3 p.m. What am I probably missing? Or, what does high protein actually mean? How much is high? You can ask these questions in plain English, mid-thought, the same way you'd text a friend. And it answers in the same way. No judgment, no upselling you on a supplement, just information. This is where ChatGPT for health becomes something more than a recipe tool. It becomes a place to think out loud about what you're eating and why, and to get clear, calm, useful answers back. The AI tools available in 2025 are genuinely good at this kind of back and forth. It's not like searching Google where you have to know the right words. You just talk. It figures out what you mean. One thing worth knowing, ChatGPT isn't a medical tool. If you have a real health condition, a doctor or registered dietitian is still the right call. But for general, I want to eat a little better, and I don't know where to start questions, it's remarkably good. If there's one thing I'd want you to carry out of this, it's that you don't need a plan before you start. You just need to open the chat and tell it what you're working with. The recipe you already love, the ingredients already in your fridge, the kind of week you're actually having. That's enough. ChatGPT builds around you, not the other way around. Meal planning doesn't have to be this big organized project anymore. It can just be a 5-minute conversation. Tomorrow, we're doing something a little different. If your home feels